So we're live on YouTube.
We are.
Wow.
Oh, wonderfulness. We certainly are a live group.
So you had your telescope out and stuff
Yes,
for the eclipse?
I went in the front on the street, which the lights were out there, so I went in the backyard. That's a beauty. Why don't you show everybody?
Why did you have the telescope out? What was it?
For the lunar eclipse.
Lunar eclipse.
Yeah, it was really neat. I was in the backyard where I usually pick up my big telescope, but this was a small one. And I took some nice pictures, but, we're getting ready for, we have a couple of star parties.
Star parties.
Yeah,
if you're from Boston, you say star parties.
Yeah, well, we invite people to like parks like Brooker Creek Preserve, and we get 200-300 people out there. They have about maybe 5, 10, 15 telescopes, but we'll have to alert our group to that if they're in the Tampa area.
You're gonna have a star party at the Harbor Bar.
Yeah. Okay, so this is show number 15. It's January 23rd. And would you believe, John, that we've done...
But this is YouTube, so we're getting ready to do...
He knows.
It sounded like you were starting the podcast.
No,
he knows. Come on. He's a
Like
veteran.
last week.
Well, because we went on for like 20 minutes, and then you're
Yeah,
let's start the
we
podcast.
redid it. We redid it
So
3 times.
you ready to start it now?
Yeah, let's start it.
Okay.
This is like great bonus material, but we need to get into the show.
So you ready to strum your way in and introduce?
Strum your way
Hello,
in.
yeah, you got your hands out in my eyes.
Hold on. Don't strum yet.
Hello, and I hope everybody is comfy and listening and watching, and we're here to make this 45 minutes go really smoothly and smashingly. I don't know if that's
Smoothly and smashingly.
it sounds like a oxymoron. It can't be smooth and
Sounds like a punk band from the 80s.
Oh, I like it. Let's call ourselves the Smooth and the Smashers, the Mashers. Anyway, I'm Bill Cephakar. I'm here with John Casimiro.
I'm still John Casimiro. I haven't changed my name yet.
Thank God, because
We haven't done anything too embarrassing on the podcast to make me change my name, so
And,
I'm keeping it.
And James Worley is still keeping his name, so we're not embarrassing him. So we're good. This is our 15th episode, show number 15, January 23rd, 2019. And do you believe we've done 4 shows in the month of January?
Wow.
Yes.
Is this going to be a 5-show month?
Well, we could very well.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Yeah.
But it's been quite a week. And those of you that have been following, there was a lunar eclipse. We were out there, John and his domain of domicile. That's what I'm saying. And my backyard, and I had my telescope up, and it was very informative, very special to see the Earth go in between the sun and the moon.
Now let me just say now, I'm a very amateur photographer. I still have a lot to learn, but to me it seems like anybody can take a camera and point it at the moon and get a shot.
True.
But to get a landscape around it, over water, over mountains, over something other than just a moon, anybody can take a shot of a moon.
Well, I will share with you. We will get my telescope up. My I don't know. So it's about $2,500 telescope, and you will see the most distinct features of the craters of the moon and the landscape. It just knock your socks off. And we'll take some pictures because I've done some astrophotography. We'll show them then. So that was one of the big events. And then on Monday was the celebration, the holiday, the celebration of the life of Martin Luther King. That was the 21st, January 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an amazing event for me. It had a lot of repercussions. And it's going to take its place in the realm of the show. A Sunday was the big day for the championship national football.
Oh, you had to bring that up.
I know. I'm sorry. Maybe one of those or 2 of those teams. But anyway, what happened was I had listened to the radio on, the playoffs. And so Monday morning, I was going to my morning prayers. I do that about twice a month. Try sort of, some spiritual uplifting. And so I had the sports station on, and I wanted to get some music. So I turned it, and I came up upon the 60s music. And this was it was like an epiphany, because as I turned it to channel surf there, they had this one special radio that it was like a program. It was Abraham Martin and John, that song that's been a national, a classic over the years. But it was infused with, you remember the song, John? What the world needs now is
Love.
Love, Sweet Love. Okay, well, Tom Clay did a composite of What the World Needs Now and Abraham Martin and John. And if you have a chance, I want to recommend to our listeners, Tom Clay did this, and it's beautiful, very touching, and it's of course about that time in the late 60s with the war and peace and stuff, and about segregation and learning to live with one another together. And I don't know how much we've learned.
Apparently not much, unfortunately.
Oh, God. So it really took me by surprise. I was listening to that song. There's a video, and that's what I really was so impressed with. So, and the initial song, Abraham Martin and John, was made popular by Dion DiMucci. Italian lineage.
Okay.
He was with Dion and the Belmonts.
Oh, that Dion.
Thought I'd get you. So, and then he did that one song, changed everything. It's identifiable with that. And so it transformed me. And in the past, it was a real wink-a-dink coincidence and magnitude of hearing that song on Dr. Martin Luther King's Day. And it represents, the American dreamer. I mean, this is what our show is about. And when you think about Abraham, Martin, and John, what better tribute than to have?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but for our listeners who aren't familiar with the song, which I'm one of them.
Well, I'm going to explain it.
Okay, yeah, explain it, because.
Right. So these are 4 of the greatest Americans that brought the dream of a better life to so many millions of Americans. And that's why I think it's really fitting, and I'm just very grateful to have a chance to do this, impart the song and the message. Abraham Lincoln as Abraham, John F. Kennedy, who was also assassinated before his time, and we know we're celebrating Martin Luther King Day. He was assassinated, and then Robert Kennedy. And I want to share this because, I talked about it, and it worked for me, that I was executive director of Community Action PACE at the University of Maryland, People Active in Community Effort. We had over 200 students that were working in the community and inner city, tutoring and working to help the community. And it just so happened the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated, I had to make a decision to bring 2 busloads of students from the university to the inner city in Washington, to be with these families that they had been working with and the children. And it was a life changer for both the families and the students. And little did we know what was to be the upheaval of explosion of Washington, D.C. But we didn't stay there 2 hours, but we had enough of feelings to exchange what we thought we were part of with this community and the neighborhood in the inner city. Was Lincoln Heights. Northeast Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And so this added to it. And then the other thing was when Robert Kennedy was assassinated, like 2 months later, almost exactly, in Los Angeles after he won that primary. And so they had all these funeral arrangements. I was living in Washington, as I said, with Martin Luther King. And I remember taking my sister, I believe she was 17 at the time, Bonnie Cephakar Landau. We traveled over to Arlington Cemetery where he was buried. They had the funeral there. And so it's in your essence of basics of, things that you remember. And that's what was so telling about that video of mixing Abraham Martin and John with what the world needs now. Because it was pretty vivid in what some of the speeches of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy, and the eulogy from Senator Ted Kennedy about his brother. So with that in mind, and hopefully I will do justice to this very special song, Abraham Martin and John, the words and music by Dick Holler.
What was his name?
Holler, Holler.
Never heard of him.
Dick Holler. Okay. Has anybody here seen my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good die young. I just looked around and he is gone. Has anybody here seen my old friend John? Can you tell me where he is gone? He freed a lot of people, but it seems the good die young. I just looked around and he is gone. Didn't they try to find some good for you and me, and we'll be free someday soon. It's gonna be a new day. Has anybody here seen my old friend Bobby? Can you tell me where he is gone? I thought I saw him walking up over the hill with Abraham, Martin, and John. I thought I saw him walking up over the hill with Abraham, Martin, and John.
I understand now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I wish we could all understand. Believe
Right?
me.
Yeah.
I think
I
we don't. I'm part of it.
I understand, but I don't understand.
But we need to go a long way. We need to find our
You
way.
think things will change in another 50 years?
I don't
I don't think so.
No, John.
We won't be
let's
around to find out.
Let's do 2 years, maybe 5, and we'll see what I'll take 1 year. How about 1 year? Everybody, do something, please. Make this better. Make us all better. I have some thoughts along that line, but so I really was talking about having something pre-recorded and inserted and is good, so it would be better.
Oh yeah, what happened with that?
Well, because, John, I know from our experience, we go back over 15 years with the public access TV, and we're also quite expert. You are.
Stop reminding me.
You are expert on post-production, pre-production, and everything in between, So we could do it. I know we could come up with it. But that whole day of Martin Luther King tribute, everybody had their own way. I went out and put my flag up there in front. And then I went on, I made the mistake of turning on the television, but that really wasn't a mistake. During the afternoon, when you have, as the worm turns, all these very important, and General Hospital.
As the worm turns?
General Hospital and everything. So, but then
Is that still on?
Believe me, it was a blur. But I got to C-SPAN, and they were having a tribute for Martin Luther King in Lincoln Center, and it was really special. And they had former Vice President Joe Biden talk about his association with Martin Luther King and some of these other notaries. But what stood out was they had an award for youth, and they gave
For youths?
Youth. Y-O-U-T-H. Maybe that's how they pronounce it, in hood. But anyway, the youth. And they gave it to the 16-year-old. His name was Tim Biden, from Silver Spring, John F. Kennedy High School. And I spent a lot of time in Silver Spring when I went to the university. And, we have to fall back on the young people today. And I was at the march in Washington for Our Lives, and it was all done by high school, even younger. There was a 13-year-old student from Virginia that spoke. And this young man spoke from the heart. It was very heartwarming. And I wish I could capture it, if you Google it. But, I went out and put my American flag out. And it was just nice to know we better, we're going to have to rely on the up and coming youth of tomorrow.
That's sad. I mean, that's scary. I mean, that's great.
You captured all the emotions, John. We don't know, but we better pray and hope, because this is really going to be an amazing confluence of 2, 3, 4 years. And we need to work. I know you were hoping for me to do.
And the podcast?
You're not that lucky. Anyway, it's January.
Right.
And I remember you had so much fun with my poem, Ode to December.
Right.
So guess what you're ready for?
There's an Ode to January.
Ode to January, right on cue.
Written by Bill Seffigar?
Will S.
Oh.
Okay. So I proposed the following prose for January's poem, and I drew from some of these thoughts and inspiration. So before I go on our first, I did this, and then I'm going to share with our viewers. So this is Ode to January, and will appear in my upcoming newsletter, which is January part 2 and February part 1. So I have 2 newsletters a month, which transcends the End of one month and the beginning of the next month, or the beginning of one month.
You know that confused look we always talk about?
Yes,
That's
there.
on my face right now.
We're going to have a picture of that. You know how they put that up with the
Yeah.
on the what do they call
Oh,
that?
those six, yeah.
yeah.
Just like face like this. Like says
Okay,
WTF.
that sounds nasty. Okay, Ode to January. This is the month for starting anew while turning cold and blue. It might be some time before we are warm and getting through. But don't worry, we're on our way. I don't know where, but this I'll say. If you pray what you need to pray and do what you got to do, make this place better. Make this place, whether your home, your work, city, or USA. Rhymes with say. I'll say, okay. You will be better off. The people around you will be better off, and you can feel better knowing that you are making headway on the super highway of life. Still go, there's more, much more. So stay tuned. I'll do my part. We've already made a start with our trusty crew. We're going to share things to make you look and crow like a cockatoo. In so doing, I'll give us a chance to know we can all make a difference. It rhymes with chance, difference. I spelled it different. So don't let your toes get cold and your nose need a blow. Look to the warmth, be cheery and glow. Take all your wondrous gifts and impart them with those that are close, family, friends, and even foe. You'll feel like you won the lotto. So let me do that again, because I'm kind of.
It's all in the delivery, you know.
Yes, you're so right. Look to the warmth, be cheery and glow. Take all your wondrous gifts and impart them with those that are close, family, friends, and even a foe. You'll feel like you won the lotto.
That's it. I don't.
It didn't get the response I was waiting, but that's it. I can redo it for a little bit. It isn't etched.
No, please don't.
Not on this show. No.
No. Have it ready for next January, maybe.
No, before it'll be February. All right. So one of our objectives, as you always say, and we want to get people to subscribe and sign up for both the American Dreamer Show and the YouTube channel, Bill Sefakar. I had one of my friends actually tried to do that, but she wasn't a subscriber of Google.com. So that made it a little difficult. And it shouldn't be that difficult to get a Google account. It's free. It's all free. And
we got to get to the top of that Google list.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So with that in mind, I got some inspirational stuff. This is part 2, Dreamer stuff. And I made a list of all these things that I want to share with you. Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. Words. Okay. Oh, this is a cool word, because this has to do with like relationships. On January 24th, this word was on Word a Day. Blackguard. It's Blackguard, but it's pronounced blackguard. Its origin. The word is made up of an English word and a word that went from French to English. Definition: a contemptible scoundrel.
Oh,
I think I've heard that, one of those,
blackguard, yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Something. And so the sentence here, using the sentence, Blair always referred to her ex-boyfriend as that blackguard.
That's blackguard.
Okay.
Mateys.
Yes, a good one. I like that.
That's for Gasparilla.
Yes, this Saturday. Okay, we'll be ready. Here's an interesting word. Hebdomad. Hebdomad. It's a noun. Origin went from Greek to Latin. A definition: a period of 7 days, a week. Interesting. Hebdomen. And the sentence was verbs expanding vocabulary. Oh, Veras. I'm sorry, it was not verbs. Veras, that's the name of the woman in this sentence. Vera's expanding vocabulary inspired her to rename her weekly word-themed blog post. This is current. With the new, catchier title, Word of the Hebdomen.
Oh, word of the Hebdomen.
Oh, man.
You go, Vera.
Yeah. Woof. Woof.
Can I sing a song for Vera?
Oh, yes.
Vera, Vera, what has become of you? That's it.
And I wonder where you are and what you do.
No, that's not the way the song goes. Did you want me to sing the rest of it?
We definitely be. All right, let's move along. In January 31st, we're looking at a word.
Is it really January? Because it's really hot in here.
This is Florida. Nate.
Matey?
No,
Hey, matey.
we're not getting that far afield with the
okay.
Pirates. It's Natte. Nate. It's got to be French. Nate. Natte. This word is from French, which is formed from a Latin word. Definition: a basket weave made with contrasting colors in the warp and weft. We got to find out what those words also are. But here's a sentence. Ned found an artisan who would make him a welcome mat using beautiful natte, but he requested that instead of welcome, it say, "Go away, I'm busy." That's what the mat, but there was a natte, is a weave, a contrasting. So that's what he had instead of welcome.
Natte.
Yeah, natte.
Natte.
Okay, so that was, and asceticism. Asceticism. This was the 1929 championship word.
Wow.
Origin Greek. Definition: rigorous abstention from self-indulgence. Wow, we could use more of that. Used in a sentence. Ricky's lavish lifestyle contrasts sharply with his brother's asceticism.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and the last word, because everybody is, but I'm doing this because Dad, if he was here, as a matter of fact, he probably is on my shoulder because he loved words and everything, everywhere. He spewed words everywhere. So this word is called sasutre.
Sasudia?
That's cool stuff. Yeah, Phil Collins, yes. Sashurat. Sashurat. Sashurat.
Spell it.
Saussurite. Saussurite.
Okay.
Word original from French, and plus a combining form that went from Greek to Latin, French to English. A mineral consisting of a tough, compact substance that is white, greenish, or grayish, and is produced in part, at least by alteration of feldspar. Oh, it's going to be cool. I'm writing in a sentence, huh? When Adina told Daniel that his green eyes were like azurite, he thanked her kindly, then immediately ran to the library to figure out if he had been insulted.
Jeez.
Okay. All right, Rudy.
I think you should do Sniglets instead.
Okay. Well, now we get into the fun stuff. All right. On I said February 19th, I believe it is. And see, I don't know what the words are, but I can say, all right. It seemed like a good idea at the time. A businessman bragged to newspaper editor Horace Greeley. Remember Horace Greeley, Go West Young Man? That he was a self-made man. And then Horace said, that relieves God of a terrible responsibility. Greeley responded after he said he was a self-made man. Okay, and then on the 21st, they said it. They should consider giving Oscars for meetings, which, you know, we're going to have the Oscars next month. Oscars for meetings, songwriter William Goldman said about Hollywood movie studios. Best meeting of the year, best supporting meeting, best meeting based on material from another meeting. That was what his, okay, and we'll just do one more. This is a philosopher's prize for taking life philosophically. While shopping in a jewelry store, philosophy professor, Mortimer Adler, was asked by the store owner, "What do you do, Mr. Adler?" "I'm a philosopher," Adler replied. "No," the jeweler corrected him. "I mean, what do you do for a living?" Anyway, that's a little dig there. Okay, so James, we are getting ready for song number 2 selection, and it's another John Denver.
Oh, I love John Denver.
I know you're going to love him whether you love me or love me not. You know what that was? That was Jimmy Buffett from the Volcano song. He said when the volcano was coming down, she said to her, Bo, he said, you better lava me not. No, you better lava me now or lava me not.
It's all in the delivery, you know.
I'm going to have to do that song. It's really a fun song. Jimmy Buffett, the Volcano song. So, but that's not our song now. Yes, sir. Oh, we're going to do it with the 6-string or the 12-string. We're going to do it with the 12-string because we're short on time. Now, this is one of my favorite John Denvers. They're really all favorite, but
Rocky Mountain High?
we're going to do that. You're going to do that too. Ooh. You're going to help me with that. We're going to work on that.
Okay.
James.
Blue Ridge Mountain, West Virginia.
So, Poems, Prayers, and Promises says a lot about life and a lot about this man who captured life in its essence and had a special gift that he wrote about it. Create feelings that would take me and people that I'm sure that have really got accustomed and delved deep into the mystique of John Denver would feel the same way.
You know, I was humming the wrong song. I just realized I was humming "Take Me Home, Country Road."
Well, we did that. That was one of the.
Yeah.
We've done 15 songs with 15 shows. I keep saying that 15 shows with 2 songs each. It's almost 30 songs.
And John Denver's been like
10.
27 of them.
No. We've had. Okay. It's Poems, Prayers, and Promises. I've been lately thinking about my lifetime, all the things I've done and how they've been, and I can't help believing in my own mind. I know I'm gonna hate to see it end. I've seen a lot of sunshine, slept out in the rain, spent a night or 2 all on my own. I've known my lady's pleasures, had myself some friends, spent a time or 2 in my own home. I have to say it now, it's been a good life all in all. It's really fine to have had a chance to hang around and lie here by the fire and watch the evening tire while all my friends and my old lady sit and pass the piper around and talk of poems, prayers, and promises and things that we believe in. how sweet it is to love someone, how right it is to care, how long it's been since yesterday. What about tomorrow? And what about our dreams and all the memories we share? We share. The days they pass so quickly now. The nights are seldom long. Time around me whispers when it's cold. The changes somehow frighten me. Still, I have to smile. It turns me on to think of growing old. For though my life's been good to me, there's still so much to do. So many things my mind has never known. I'd like to raise a family. I'd like to sail away and dance across the mountains on the moon. I have to say it now. It's been a good life all in all. It's really fine to have the chance to hang around and lie here by the fire and watch the evening tide, while all my friends and my old lady sit and pass the pipe around and talk of poems, prayers and promises and things that we believe in. How sweet it is to love someone, how right it is to care, how long it's been since yesterday. What about tomorrow? And what about our dreams and all the memories we share? We share.
I was just telling James we should have put the John Denver hat on you. Make the experience complete.
I want to share something with you. If you give me the black hat, James, because I showed you that before. I was teaching 4th grade last week, and it was so precious. These kids, you know, when I was teaching the other day in the middle school, thank you, sir. And it was, you know, they were in their class, you know, their seats in the classroom. But in the 1st grade, they all gather around. They just love to, you know, be part of what's happening. And they look at you and you stare back. And there was my black hat. And they were enthralled. And I did John Denver.
Of course.
Sunshine on my shoulder. So the black hat. And this one little kid, he was so precious. And he comes over,
What grade is this?
first grade,
First grade.
and he grabs the hat. It was on like near the table and stuff. And in one fell swoop, he rips off the little blob where you put your hat on and he
Yeah.
ties it on. I don't know how he did it. I couldn't have done it. So I tie it in a knot now. But they just loved it. They were asking questions. And we had a fun day. And I learned a lot today. Learned a lot. But so I'm sold on it, even if I just do it a couple of times a week, you know, and it's very special when you're sharing and giving, imparting, and it comes back. So
I'm gonna be doing a children's class at the library.
Oh, that's special.
It's for teaching kids how to use YouTube, how to start a YouTube channel.
That's so neat. And you know, I am so fortunate to be with you people. And I had written something because oh, hello. We're good. And James, one of the things that I like to do when I'm teaching, I ask the students, I say, what do you think I do when I'm not teaching? And I get some answers, believe me, I don't know, rum runner, they're just banker, you know, all kinds of things. And, you know, every so often it comes up with really fun things. So I wanted to.
Did they guess podcaster?
No. But James, if you look up in the webcam and, you know, so what do you think, James, one of the things that James does when he's not doing the show here?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh, I do want to know. No, shall we tell him, James? I mean, James does a lot of good things in the community.
He does. Yeah, he does.
He really is a blessing for people, for everyone. And he works with the homeless.
James is a big advocate.
Advocate is the key word because he goes everywhere and helps everyone. So, you know, we're not just.
Can I give your YouTube channel a plug?
Oh,
Homeless Lives Matter
oh, God,
on YouTube.
yes.
Just Google it. It'll come up. Yep.
That is so pretty neato. So, you know, in the third part, we usually do the American Dreamer, the book. And I always keep going down at the end here. But I wanted to say just one of the reasons for pursuing the new book, the challenge it worked for me, is because I need to get as much as endearing and wonderful thought process of putting a book together as a tribute to my dad, which is what I've done, and his meaningful life. And I feel it's important also for me to get away as, you know, from under the umbrella and strike out on my own. And this is where you guys, bless you.
We're gonna co-write the book.
No, I'm sending blessings to your way. You know, you can't buy blessings. That's one of the things
Are you sure?
From my first book with Cantor William Harvin, Holocaust Sign, because you guys have given me the wherewithal to do this, to get my creative juices going. And I really believe it offers the opportunity for you two, not YouTube, you both, James and John, to go forth and prosper and shine because of all these wonderful things you are able to create. This is part of your nature and your gift. These are your dreams also. And you pursue the adventures and part of the plan, and you're out there conjuring up and breaking through with imaginative kind of things as well. Like they say, the sky's the limit. Remember, if you can dream it and wish it, you can see it, then seize it. Now, remember last week, I was going to say we're going to, there's two things I wanted to share. Remember we talked about Sergeant Shriver and traveling on the plane and everything?
Yes.
Well,
do we have time for this story?
Yes, it's a real nice story.
I don't know.
All right. On the plane with Sergeant Shriver was his daughter, Maria Kennedy Shriver, who you remember, she was on network television, everything. And she was about 17 or 18 at the time. Very nice young woman, just captivated the whole plane with her presence. And you know who she married? She was the first lady of California when she married Arnold. And
Yeah, that didn't turn out so well. Well, I'm sure it turned out well.
Sergeant Shriver, SHRIVE.
No, not Sergeant Sergeant
Oh man,
Short.
you know he was the Mountie Police, your guy, Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Unbelievable. Well, Canadian Mountie Police. We're gonna get you for this. You're gonna be. I'm gonna have a picture of you with Sergeant Worley. Anyway, so she was the first lady of California. He was a Republican, you know, which was like taboo. He crossed, you know, politics makes strange bedfellows, literally. And
Well, yeah,
figuratively.
but at the end it didn't work out, did it?
But anyway, it worked out well. She added to that.
Yeah.
You know, Ronald Reagan was a Republican actor, and
Yeah.
Senator Murphy and James Stewart.
Both governors of California, right?
Yeah. So, you know, but this was, I saw her just about every day and brighten my day whenever she was on the plane. So I wanted to add that to the thing. And
Did she drink her Lowenbrow?
I don't think so. All right. Also, in my cabinet of stuff, I found President Carter, Jimmy Carter's. I worked for him on his campaign and went to the inauguration, and that was in 1980.
Real quick, he came to my hometown and he shook my hand. I said,
Well, I shook his hand.
I was a very young
Okay,
man.
go forth, do things, learn from your experience. Even if it fails, you get up and you do it and better. And we're doing better because we've made mistakes. You might not have seen them all, but you know them.
We don't make mistakes.
All right. Thank you again for joining us on the American Dreamer Show. Go forth and make your American dreams come true. This is Bill Sefakar, James Worley, and John Casimiro. Thank you, brothers, for being here with me. All the best to you all. Your friend, Bill Sefakar.
You really want to get your money's worth out of this. Down to the second.
Yeah, and then
if there's 4 seconds left, you'll get 2 more words.
But
in.
all I know is when I see this, it's 44 minutes and 40 seconds. So they cut off 20 seconds
right.
anyway.
So then why do you push it?
No, but that's when you're saying I'm over, but I'm not really over.
Okay. Well, we'll listen to it, and then you're gonna be cut
We're
off.
saying it's over because if we don't,
They'll cut us.
you're going to go over.
That was very. Could you say that again? So say,
We're saying you're over because if we don't, you're going to go over.
Right.
there. That's Confucius.
What
Hey,
if
that's a new one. Confucius.
Confucius?
Confuse us? You do confuse us every time.
Confucius say
Then call me Confucius.
you're Confucius.
Are we live or anywhere?
Sure.
You do.
Oh, God, YouTube. Oh, now I can tell the story about
Joe's
this.
just looking at us and laughing.
He knows. He didn't give me much, you know, like in high school, they say the most likely to succeed.
You aren't most likely to succeed.
Not in my dad's book. He said, oh, God. And I grew up on a block that all the kids were brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, they went Harvard,
What part of you? What now? You
Long Island,
what-
Syosset,
Syosset, Long Island. Okay.
on Windcrest Street.
Okay.
And these, you know, Dartmouth, I don't know, Princeton, but they all were smart. And my folks, you know, they had a, you know, they wouldn't get into any big discussions with their neighbors about their children.
They didn't have the bumper sticker that
When-
says my kid is I was an honor student at Syosset High School.
No, they'd have a bumper sticker that said, someone hit my car, it's my son's car, and the bumper is smashed. The good thing was, and in the book, John, could you hold that please for 1 second? Uno segundo. Talk. Why don't you put it on? I have a copy. Yeah, talk.
Talk about for our YouTube audience, right? We're still rolling on YouTube. Well, this is funny, and excuse me for making this comparison, but Howard
Gold and silver.
no Howard Stern.
Oh, God.
Howard Stern grew up in Long Island.
Yes.
He grew up in the 50s and 60s. and he tells these stories about his dad. His dad was a recording engineer,
Well, that gave him a head start. My
Yeah.
dad was an administrator, so I got into government.
but he always said, and your dad was sounded like your dad was very tolerant.
Savvy. Oh, yeah. Oh,
So he was tolerant of you. Well, his
Uh.
dad was not tolerant of him. He would always be like, "I told you not to be stupid, you moron," and
no,
stuff like that. But a lot of things I hear that, like the neighborhood he grew up in, and they weren't he wasn't the smartest. But but he never thought that, like, his dad was when he finally got his show at NBC, he was finally proud of him.
Well, my dad said I had a lot of potential. One of my favorite songs, even though I played it at the eulogy for my dad's brother, passed away about 11 days before my dad in July of 14. But at the when they had the headstone, and a year later, it was Brooklyn Roads was Neil Diamond. And it's about immigrants, Neil Diamond, well, not so much immigrants, but, growing up with, his brother. Neil Diamond had a brother, and he remembers the whiskers of the two boys running up the stairs into Papa's embrace and feeling the whiskers on his face. It was like my dad and his brother, they were 2 years apart. But there's a segue in there that relates to me, because he's wondering if some boy is in that room that he grew up. And I wanted to get some music, so I turned it.
What are you doing?
And
James?
I came.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm glad that was a test.
So that's good that you can play stuff back for us, and we can listen to it. In our headphones.
Wonderfulness.
Yeah.
So anyway, the part of that refrain in Brooklyn Roads by Neil Diamond was that he's wondering if there's a boy that's in that room that he grew up in, looking out there and wondering, how he's gonna, with all the doubts that Neil Diamond had, and he talked about how his mother would have to go to the school, and when he got his report card, and he'd have tears because he wasn't doing it, and Neil could do so much more, that old refrain, and I had that too, believe me. They in early or elementary school, the teacher would say, please have Bill not bring all his toys, his action figures to school, distracting the whole class. But see, I had to make up for it. And this is part of what it worked for me, because I was a baby boomer. Yeah.
I was a baby boomer.
Yeah.
I was just on the tail end of that.
On the cusp.
On the cusp, yeah.
Well, I was right there, dead center. And so my mother had a choice whether to put me ahead or put me back, because there was an overflow of so many baby boomers. So she decided me to put me ahead. So I was in classes where the kids were always a year older than me. What
do you mean put you ahead? You started school early.
I skipped kindergarten. I had to.
You skipped kindergarten.
I know, all those creative juices,
cookies and milk,
and writing
pretzels.
on and throwing stuff on the paint everywhere and the blocks.
Kindergartners don't get to do that anymore. No, kindergarten doesn't sound like fun anymore.
That's why, John. You have to give me a little extra leeway.
You missed kindergarten.
I missed out.
Yeah.
But that's what happened, and so I was always ahead a year, and I had to catch up. I was always immature anyway. So,
but still haven't caught up, have you?
I'm trying. Okay, James, have we caught up yet?
Are we done?
Can we sign off?
Can we say goodbye?
Whenever you're ready.
Goodbye.
Now he tells us.
Yeah.
Oh, we're ready.
Hit that off button.
Off button.
Say goodbye.
John. Say goodbye. Oh, last week before
you say goodbye and then he keeps going.
Well, because I had fun last week, because when I said bye guys, bye girls, I said no, hi girls, bye guys. You didn't hear that. Take it. That's off.